never forget. It reminds me of another night, the night that I met Jesus. And it also was a night that I will never forget. And that is that tonight we have all denied that gift, for we have killed the Son of God. Oh God, is it possible that your mercy could still atone for such sin? Will the windows of heaven ever open again to see your grace poured out upon people? Or are we bound to stay in darkness? And the only thing we have to look forward to end this torment is death. Could it be that the God of heaven and earth would allow such an unthinkable thing as to allow his only Son to die on a cross between sinners? Two thieves? And if God would allow such a thing, could it be that he must have some grand purpose or plan? Because otherwise, why would he allow his only Son to suffer such shame and to go through such physical torment? Could it be that his purpose has room in it for a wretch like me?
They looked at him and saw a simple man, a carpenter with healing in his hands. They saw him come to see and heal a dying man. They saw, but could they really understand?
Possible, remove yourself to the hills for the coming weeks.
Sir, I am confused between what you have told us about Jesus for the last few years and the events of the last day. Did you not tell us that he was the Messiah, the Son of the living God? And did you not say that through his power you walked on water? How is it then that he was killed by our enemies? What is it that you want us to believe now? For now the Roman soldiers are walking the streets looking for the followers of Jesus. I have a home and a family and a business, and they're all at risk. How is it that when Jesus said his church would not fall before the gates of hell, how is it that we're hiding from the Roman soldiers? What is to become of us? I was at Golgotha. I am burdened with such sorrow because I saw his wounds. I saw how they ridiculed and jeered him. I saw that crown of thorns and I saw the nails. Where were you? Where were you? You were not there, but you were there in the courtyard of the high priest, Caiaphas, when they ridiculed and jeered him. And you denied him. The servant girl asked you if you knew Jesus, and you said you didn't know him. And when another girl asked you, you said the same thing. And when the crowd in the courtyard said, "Did you know Jesus?" you not only denied him, but you called curses down upon yourself. And now you stand there, assuming our confidence. In times of crisis, the people want to follow a man of courage and integrity. You coward! You are not that man!
I have many faults and I've made many errors. However, I am not a coward. While only a few hours ago, at Gethsemane, I took a sword and I fought those who came to arrest our teacher. And yet Jesus refused to defend himself, and he rebuked my efforts to defend him. That precise event represents a true failure of my life. Namely, I never understood the man. Try as I might, I could not help disappointing or contradicting him. Do you remember the story of the night of the Sea of Galilee and the storm blew in? Suddenly, Jesus was walking across the water. I could not believe my eyes. I asked him to command me to walk to him. And when he did, I got out of the boat and walked on the water toward him. The waves were over my head, and the wind was howling. And my walk lasted only a short while. Jesus chastised me for being of little faith. I walked on water. Do you know of anyone who's walked on water? And yet, he chastised the strength of my belief. Do you remember that Jesus said he would be arrested and killed when he came to Jerusalem? I was horrified at the thought of losing our teacher, and I tried to discourage him, for I did not want to lose our teacher and our healer.
Dear ones, tonight you have lost a friend and counselor. I understand your grief. I have watched my son die on the cross of suffering and shame. But your hearts are heavy with another burden. You are worried that hope has been lost, that the light of the world has been extinguished. Many of you even worry that by the events of today, your eternity has been determined. My soul is also troubled beyond the loss of my son. I think it may surprise you, though, the cause for my distress. I am alarmed at how many have forsaken Jesus and fled. I'm not speaking of avoiding the Roman cross or Caesar's sword. For who would not delay an appointment which was torment and death? I'm speaking of our loss of our faith and our understanding of God's nature and his mission. For that is a greater loss that the sword and cross can never threaten. Even after the horrible events of today, my memories do not shake my understanding or crush my faith. In fact, it only affirms that Jesus is who he said, Son of God. From the cross that they put him on, he offered a thief salvation. He forgave his tormentors. And he asked John to care for me when he could not. Even the Roman guard that stood by said surely he was the Son of God. The crowd shouted, he saved others, he trusted God. But who of them ever saved anyone or trusted God as he did? Did you see the sign above his head, King of the Jews? Do you think this was some cruel joke or an ironic coincidence? I believe that God would not allow his only son to be crucified, such a horrible death, without the truth being plainly visible for all to see.
And thinking on that, the discerning of the Lord's body, especially when communion and here on Good Friday, we think of the Lord's body being crucified, the scourging that he took, the crown of thorns, the beatings, the nailing of his hands and feet on the cross. And it is really vital that we do that when we partake of communion, because it is important that we are aware of what he did for us and what was suffered for us. I think of Peter and Nicodemus and Mary, that after his death, and crucifixion, after witnessing that, how real it must have been to them when they partook of communion.
This lonesome